Hello, and welcome back to the Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, you'll be notified when the next video goes live. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some tips on how to minimize an area of your life that can be really difficult to take care of, and that is sentimental items. So if you are just getting started on this minimalism journey, you may not want to start right here with sentimental items. You might want to start in your kitchen or in your bathroom, because sentimental items, they're sentimental, so they're really hard to get rid of. But a really great question to ask ourselves: if we have things stored in boxes in our attic, in our basement, and closets, are we really cherishing the memory of that loved one? Are we forgetting about those things? So to get started, the first step is almost always this. We're going to pull it all out. Maybe bring it to an area that you can see everything in one place. Set it all on your kitchen table. Pull it all out and see what you have. Step 2 is decision time. Maybe right away you notice some things that, okay, I've hung on to this. This is not something I want to keep. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. This is a process I'm going to share with you that I have mentally gone through, but you have to determine what works best for you. I am not saying that you need to get rid of everything that has a memory attached to it, but we need to be really careful to not hang on to every single item. So here are some questions to ask yourself when you're going through those sentimental items. Does this have a memory for me? Sometimes we can be passed down things from parents or grandparents that we don't even know what they are, and we may not be able to find out what it is, or it's something that someone else thought we may have sentimental value attached to it for us and it's not there. So if that's the case, you can absolutely let it go. But ask yourself, does this particular item mean something to me? Question number 2, can I use this now? Don't save special things for later. Create memories with those things today. I was gifted my grandmother's crystal, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's so beautiful that I actually store it in a cabinet that has glass on the front because it's so pretty. I could just keep it there and keep it safe, but instead, for special occasions like Mother's Day or Christmas, I love to pull out those pieces. And yes, I'm absolutely risking that something could get broken, but that's okay, because if something gets broken, I still now have the memories of sitting down with my family with something that my grandmother sat down with my dad and enjoyed dinner with those pieces, and now I am making memories with those things. I have some beautiful blankets that my husband's grandmother made for my kids. And rather than just keep those stored in a box somewhere, I allow my kids to have those blankets. One of them is a small blanket, and my daughter regularly uses it to wrap her babies in it. So she is creating special memories with this blanket. I encourage you to see those items that you can use now and go ahead and use them. Make new memories with those special pieces. And next question is, do I want to display this? Maybe it is something that you can use as part of the decoration in your home. Now, I'm not talking about creating a curio cabinet and just filling it full of knickknacks and memory pieces. I'm talking about utilizing those things in your current scheme of how you decorate your house. For example, my husband was able to have the flag that was on the casket of his grandfather, who was a veteran. It is folded and it's in this beautiful wooden box. It looks so beautiful in our library. It's up on the top shelf, the light shines on it. I love that that piece is not stored away in the attic, that it is put on that shelf, and it is a beautiful decoration. So look at these pieces. Maybe you have some of your grandmother's china and you could frame one of those plates or hang it on the wall if you're not going to use those pieces. Find a way that you can display those, and you get to see those items and create a memory of seeing them. Another question is, can I share this? Maybe you were the oldest sibling or the oldest cousin, and you got to have most of the stuff and somebody else didn't get to have it. So maybe you can pass that thing on to somebody else. That ask them, hey, I have all of this stuff from grandmother. Do you want to have some of it too? Share those items with somebody else. And then if none of the above works for that item and you know that it's time to let it go, but you really still feel that attachment, This is what I did with some of the art pieces that I had. I had created some little ceramic pieces when I was in school, and they were so ugly that they were cute. So I took photos of those items, and I still have that photo. The photo is in a photo album, and I have that memory, but I let that piece go rather than just have it continuing to take up space and to be stored in my attic. And better yet, maybe you can find a picture of that loved one using that item or with that item, and you could put that in the album beside that photo. That's a great way to continue to preserve that memory while you still don't actually have to hold on to the physical piece. So now it's time to store the items you've decided to keep. For myself, I've made a little rule. The only things that I'm going to keep stored in my attic are things that I know for sure that I am one day going to pass on to my children. Maybe it is something that they were gifted from someone that I know that one day they will want. Or when I was going through my sentimental items several years back, my daughter came around the corner and she had grabbed my wedding shoes and she had put those on. And I actually had been planning on getting rid of them. And she's like, Mom, in her tiny little 3-year-old voice, she said, I want to wear these in my wedding. I decided to go ahead and keep those for her. Only keep those things in your attic that you know that you will one day be letting go of. But here are a few tips for storing those items. So you want to determine what place are you going to store those in. We have one clear box that I use. It is a box with a lid that I use in my attic that I'm going to keep those things in. And then individually, if we have paper items or cards that we've received, each person in our family has a small box in our rooms that we keep those items in. But determine this is the only space I'm going to use, and that kind of helps you to create a zone or to keep yourself from keeping everything if you know that I'm only going to use this certain number of boxes to store those items in. If it is a fabric piece, you want to be sure that it's been washed or dry cleaned, however you need to take care of that item. If it has a stain, I found this out when I pulled some of my little boys' clothes out that have been in storage for a while. If it has a stain, the stain is only going to get worse and far more permanent if you store it with a stain. So be sure that any clothing items or cloth items that you keep, that all of the stains have been removed. And then whatever that fabric is, Google it, see what you need to use to wrap it, to preserve it, however you need to do that. And then the final tip is to label each item. What if I passed away tomorrow and my children went to the attic? Would they know what those pieces were? So what I have done is I have put little notes inside of each of those things that I have kept. For example, Elsie was only 3 or 4 when she asked me to keep my wedding shoes. And so I wrote a little note and I kept those inside for her. Now it's really important that I let her know that these were shoes that she asked me to keep for her. But absolutely, when it comes the time for her to get married, if she doesn't want to use those, she absolutely does not have to. She can take a picture of those and then donate them. She is totally free to do that. But be sure that you label it. Better yet, write a little note of what that memory of that item means to you and keep that in that box. So that way the memory will continue to be preserved. Going through sentimental items can be really hard, but it's a beautiful thing when you know that those memories of your loved ones are being preserved. Another category that can be really difficult to manage are papers. We all have a lot of papers. And if you want to hear how that I have finally conquered the clutter of paper, then you can check out my video here about how I went paperless. It's one of my very favorite things that I've ever done. I no longer have a desk that's overflowing with papers because our family is paperless. It has definitely added margin to my life for the good things.